Hey everyone, this is Stephen. It's the 4th of January and in our first cast of 2017, let me wish everybody that's watching a very happy new year from all of us at FlowXO. What better way to kick off 2017 than to get your very own chatbot in place and let it help you make more sales and cut down on customer service people hours in the year to come. So, an official welcome to FlowXO's Getting Started webcast, where we'll get you up and running with FlowXO with an introduction to its key features and benefits, specifically in relation to its broadcast service for marketing, its messaging service for contacting human agents in real time. That one's really important, human augmenting your bot for maximum effectiveness, and how to collect data through a conversational form. We'll be looking at launching a bot on Facebook Messenger today. We'll also look at launching access to the same bot as a custom widget on your website, as well as providing a full-fledged web messenger directly embedded in your own website or landing page. You'll see that a core strength of FlowXO is our cross-platform focus, which the web messenger is an extension of. You build a bot once and you can have it present everywhere. If there's anything specific you'd like to see today, just get in live chat now or drop a note into our community later. If you haven't been there yet, I'll give you some links for that at the end. Let's kick off by taking a look at a bot that's got some press this week. It's been around a while, but I think it's still gaining traction, so let's just take a closer look. So the Swelly Bot, I picked this bot up in a VentureBeat article this week. Just let me read a couple of things that they had to say. Swell's community polling Swelly Bot concept is simple yet insanely smart and insightful. Its flawless visual conversational UX and user feedback loops are highly engaging and extremely effective. Plus it's a perfect use case for a bot. As one of the most popular bots out there, Swelly now has 1.5 million users and growing. Okay, I have to say I disagree with a lot of that write-up, and here's why. A bot must be at least partially conversational. It's great that this bot is functional and guides you through a process, and it doesn't wander too much, but it should be able to recognise when one is breaking from the current strand and be more responsive. This bot just doesn't do that. You can see here, it made a small error. The images didn't relate to the answer. And when I tried to correct it, it just carried on in its stream of conversation rather than realizing that I wanted to break away from that. I think there's still a lot of bot pretentiousness out there. We're well beyond the early adopter stage now where bots are a novelty, and bots need to be very functional and cover the bases: basic conversation, ability to recognize when the strand of conversation has changed, rich content provided, and a well-guided customer experience. In terms of the perfect use case for a bot, that should be either making sales, driving the top line, or saving people hours, reducing admin costs. This bot is kind of fun, but it won't pay the bills. Okay, by this point, you've signed up for a FlowXO account and connected your messenger bot. Let us know if you have any trouble with that. You can get us in live chat right now, get us on the Facebook page, or you can put a note in our community later. A quick reminder, what is FlowXO? Well, first of all, it's the future of business messaging. It must be true because you can see it there just to the left of my head. In more direct terms, however, FlowXO is a complete platform for building, hosting and managing chatbots for messaging platforms such as Messenger, Slack and Telegram. It includes a visual editor to build bots without code. Everything is driven by a set of flows which you build out with certain tasks. You can create and distribute your own bots which are owned and branded by you, but importantly, they're hosted by FlowXO. I'm running this cast live so that I can maximize your time and provide everything you need to get started right in this session. Let us solve any queries or give any guidance you need right away. Again, there's live chat. Please get speaking to the team and I over on the right of the YouTube window. Down to business. Let's get onto my desktop. My example business for today is the Mortgage Store, who are the home of the Mortgage Bot. The Mortgage Store are a typical mortgage broker who are regulated to advise customers on mortgage loans, and they have this Facebook page in place. They have a range of products available: first-time buyer, remortgage, buy-to-let or second home mortgages. Just a little bit more context, the Mortgage Store simply wants to communicate with customers better, provide a more engaging experience, divert basic queries away from the resource-intensive phone line, and ultimately write more business. So if you got my email, you should have your bot in place by now and Messenger open and ready to go, as well as Google Sheets, Gmail, of course FlowXO. We'll take a close look at this setup in a few minutes. Just a note on this sheet, you can see it has a very specific structure and I've set it up just like this. It's important that I've got a header row in that sheet and also a first line of data. Before we go any further, however, let's dive right in and take a look at our bot that's in place. I'm going to launch him here into Facebook Messenger. So you can see that clicking Get Started in Messenger gives us a specific trigger to welcome new first-time customers. So here I click Get Started, which passes the start keyword. And you can see that right away he's tried to get us on track by giving us some option buttons. He's trying to fulfill his purpose and direct customers to the things that he can help with. However, it's important that he can handle some basic conversation. So let's say hello. And you can see he wants to get right to the point again. He greets us, but again, he wants to get right to the point and divert us to the menu, to the things that he can handle. But I'm more interested if he knows his name. I'm going to be a bit mischievous and type in a question rather than click for the menu that he's offered. Okay, so he can easily counter that too, and he's constantly directing us back into the bot's purpose through the menu, which is the whole point of having the bot out there. It's really simple to set up this basic conversational small talk and capture any and all things that were thrown at the bot. We'll look at some flows in a moment so you can see how easy it was to put this together. Just a final try to stress the point here. We'll ask, tell me a joke. And you can see that's well handled again. We're not here to mess around, we're here to do business. So let's get on with it and click for the menu. So let's assume here that I'm a customer, I'm here in Messenger, and I want an update on a previous mortgage inquiry. Whilst case updates could in fact be handled by the bot, as the customer I'm more interested in what the human broker has to say. I'm desperate to complete on my mortgage deal. So I'm going to choose Talk to a Human, which is offered here. And you can see I've run into a problem. I've returned some standard small talk or helper text. Unfortunately, that flow isn't in place yet. So let's resolve that. Over in FlowXO, here I am at the Flow dashboard. Just a quick shout out to this feature here. There's a referral link, and if you encourage your friends to use the platform via social media, you can earn rewards in the way of extra interactions and bots or flows. And you can see that I've arranged my flows into folders, which is great for managing what the bot does and tweaking functionality, or for organizing flows for different events or customers. So now let's see how easy it is to resolve our issue, speaking to a human agent. I'm going to click New Flow, and the Talk to a Human template is right here. I need to turn this flow on, and let's just look what's going to happen here. So we're going to trigger this flow on any of these words or phrases, so we know that we've got a button that's going to pass one of those words or phrases for us. We're going to kick off with a message just to welcome the customer. We're going to collect the message from them. Now you can see in this task I'm told important, add your email address, so we need to go ahead and do that. We need to just customize this template for our needs, so we're going to put in our email address. And the rest of the template there is fine for our purposes. So I can save. I can rename this message and agent because we've taken note of the warning. And the final thing, just to keep this bot conversational, it's important to keep the customer updated all the time about what's happening. I'm going to send a confirmation message then to the user. So this flow's on. Let's go over to Messenger and we'll try again. Talk to a human. We'll say we'd like an update. I then have the option to send another. You'll have noticed that was a keyword on the beginning of the flow we just looked at, which will cycle through this set of questions again. Alternatively, I can break out to the menu. We're told that we'll be back to us in a few working hours. Importantly, however, at the mortgage store now, they've received that message has been routed to an agent. He's got it in his inbox. That was the message we passed as the customer. I can reply here. and send this message, route this message directly back into Messenger. And there's the message come back into Messenger. So everything's routed into Messenger, everything's kept in Messenger. Just a really important point here. I've used Gmail in this example. We could have used Freshdesk, Salesforce Desk, Help Scout, any support or ticketing software where I can route emails. So you can see it's really easy to manage all of these conversations inside your existing customer support software. And you can see that just in a few minutes, minus my elaborations, we've got a fully human augmented bot in place by using that FlowXO template. There are obviously lots of other templates there to explore, and we'll look at least one of more of those in this cast. Okay, so as the customer, now let's make sure I've made the best choice before I commit to a deal. Let's get another quote and stay on top of the market. So we'll go back to the bot and we'll ask for the menu. And this time I'm going to get a quote. And unfortunately, you can see here, I've got exactly the same problem. Well, good news, we know how easy it is to resolve these problems, so let's go and do that now. The difference this time is that I'm going to build this flow myself rather than rely on one of the FlowXO templates. So I'm going to put the trigger in place. And I'm going to trigger on the word quote. Then first I'm going to turn this workflow on just so I remember to do that. Then I'm going to send a message to the customer just to keep this interaction engaging. Then we'll ask a question of the user. And we're going to say, I have your name down as, and then we're going to use a FlowXO output. So I'm just going to select from the output list here, and we're past the user's name from Facebook in this case. So I can use a FlowXO output. And we're going to ask for an email. I'm going to validate this as an email, so the response that I get can only be an email address. I'm going to ask another question. And we'll validate as a number. We'll ask one final question. And we're just going to put a little emoji in here as well, just because we're asking a slightly confidential question and we just want to instill some trust. So then we'll also validate the answer to this as a question. Could I take your salary? Of course, the response there has got to be a number as well. Next, I'm going to use a FlowXO utility service or a helper service, the number service. And we're going to perform a calculation. I'm going to take the answer to that third question about their salary, and I'm going to times it by 4.5, which is a typical mortgage lending criteria. Then I'm going to send a message back to the customer. It's important to do this first before we do anything else because we want to keep this interaction engaging. It's important to let the customer know what's going on. and we're going to send this message back. So we're going to give an indication of the deal that we could give and the amount that we could lend. Now importantly, I'm going to replace the output there with the result of our number calculation. And also in this message, I'm going to tell the customer what I've done with their information. I've passed your detail directly to an advisor. They'll get in touch in a few minutes. So we're going to use the messaging service again now. It's a really important aspect of every bot, and at this stage I just want to draw your attention to another VentureBeat article that was published just before Christmas. Why your next chatbot should be human augmented, not AI augmented. So everybody in the industry, in the bot industry, is starting to realize how important it is that bots are human augmented, and that's exactly what we're about to do again here with FlowXO. This time obviously we're in a sales context, so this is a hot lead that we want to route directly through to a sales agent. So we'll click for the messaging service. We're going to send the message to email. And just a little bit of pre-prepared text here. Now again, their name we got directly from Facebook, so I can pass that. And the mortgage amount, you'll remember, was the result of our calculation. The next thing I'm going to do, we looked briefly at our Google Sheet earlier, which is here. I'm going to add this new lead into my Google Sheet. Now you can think of this Google Sheet as a proxy for my database. If you're using a database to capture customer details, this connection to a service, we support over 100 services. This connection could be to MySQL or your CRM system. I'm using Google Sheets just to keep things nice and straightforward. I'm going to add a row. Spreadsheet was leads or marketing messages, the worksheet was new customer, and you can see here all I need to do is populate. These are reflective of the columns that I have in my spreadsheet. I just need to use the FlowXO output button here, the name given to us by Facebook, email was the answer to our first question, mobile was the answer to our second question, salary was the answer to our third question, and the mortgage amount was the result again of our number calculation. So you can see again that we've done two things here. Well, three things in fact. Firstly, we've contacted the customer again with a message to let them know what we're doing. We're going to route a message through to the sales agent so they can get back in touch and hopefully get this quote accepted. And we've added this person to our Google Sheet, which is a proxy for our CRM system, Insightly, Pipedrive, FLG, whatever it is you're using. And we're going to go and run that flow now. And this time, when I click get a quote this time, we'll see the flow running. I'll answer the questions. And you can see there the calculation's been performed, we've been given an offer, and that message will now be routed directly through to our human agent. Let's go and have a look at our logs. Just going to wait a couple of minutes for that to come through. And then we can reply and we can say, sure, let me get this quote sorted out for you. Then back in Messenger, there's the message, and I can hit reply in order to maintain this thread of conversation with the human agent rather than the bot. Of course, alternatively, I can break out of that thread of conversation with the human agent at the mortgage store and continue speaking to the bot instead. Okay, so now I'm interested in getting some updates on the mortgage products that I might want to purchase. I know that interest rates move around a lot. The quote wasn't quite to my liking just then, and I'm not ready to dive in just yet, but I might like to revisit when the rates are right for me. So over in our bot, this time we'll ask for the menu again. And let's subscribe. I'll run through the options here. I'm interested in remortgaging in this case, and I'm told that I've been subscribed to those remortgage type offers from the mortgage store. Let's just have a look at the flow that powers that conversation. You can see here's the subscribe flow. A new message trigger. You'll be in familiar territory now. We're triggering on that word subscribe. We're then going to ask the question. Which product are you interested in? And the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to set an attribute. Now, attributes can act like a counter, how many times somebody visited, or a flag, somebody said a specific word. In this case, we're tracking the product attribute, which is the answer to which product this customer is interested in. It's just a simple key value store in the background that we can use for filtering later on. On that note, it's really important to understand that these attributes, which are specific to each customer and based on this response path, are available in the trigger of every flow. So you'll see why that's important in our next flow that we have in place here, which is our broadcast marketing flow. So it's here in this flow that we're sending out the marketing messages. Important to note that by default this service is going to send to absolutely everybody that has the bot installed. Of course, that's great. We can send one trigger like an email, a webhook, or an RSS feed item, and on doing that all of our users that have the bot installed will get the content. But we need to make good use of FlowXO filters in order to segregate our marketing and direct messages to relevant customers. Now you can see here in my flow I've used a webhook. If you haven't used these before, don't worry. I've used it here to demonstrate how easy it is to get information in and out of FlowXO from any web connected app, your CRM system, a dialer system, anything like that. You can trigger a flow and use the data that is sent from the app in your flow and therefore in conversation with customers. You can webhook out too, of course. So let's get this sent off. I'm just going to paste my webhook in here. And you might have heard the bing then. There's my offer been sent directly through. So I'm subscribed here. We just subscribed in the previous flow, and there's the marketing message being sent through to me. Just to really stress this point, if I go and look at the logs of this flow, you'll see all of these subscribers were filtered because their product type didn't match the filter that we have in the trigger, which was to look for the product containing the value remortgage in the webhook, and also the attribute that we stored for this particular trigger as remortgage to. So again, we only receive the message for the customers that have the product type remortgage stored in their attributes. So you'll be glad to know you can also trigger with an email or by consuming an existing RSS feed. You might already have one on your site. Even better, you guessed it, there's already a template for that. So it's just a few clicks to get in place. We can do that now. I'm going to click New Flow, select Newsfeed. And in this flow, we're consuming the BBC homepage newsfeed. You can just substitute in your own feed or any other public feed to deliver content directly to all your customers or a selected group. Okay, so just a final review here and some finishing touches. First, here are the small talk and welcome and help flows, which are both templates. I've altered them slightly for our purposes in this demonstration, but it's as easy as clicking new flow and installing those templates yourselves. On the welcome and help flow, just a couple of notes. First of all, it uses a catch-all as its trigger. So we're not looking for a keyword or phrase here. We're looking for the absence of any other keyword or phrase that this bot knows about. So this triggers every time something's said that we don't understand. Next here in this flow, I'm going to use the code service. The code service is a really powerful way to do, well, whatever it is you want to do. It can make requests to other apps or services that FlowXO doesn't support. It can perform some custom manipulation or calculations on data and use that output in conversation with the customer. We've used a really simple example here where we're just splitting out the person's first name from their full name that Facebook gives us. But if you want to interact with your CRM, your calling or dialer system, or any other web connected app, you can do it with this service. Be sure to talk to us to see how you can get the best out of it. And you can see then in the remainder of this flow, I'm just filtering out different phrases that were said to the bot to make sure that we only give this message, for instance, on the first connection to the bot by looking for the start keyword, or down at the bottom an unfiltered message that's said in the absence of recognizing absolutely anything at all, which is just going to give us the menu, so we're always directing the customer back to the right place. Over in the small talk flow, again, just a template that I've installed, adapted slightly. In the trigger here, I'm looking for lots and lots of possible words or phrases, but I've also grouped them. You can see here that these standard greetings are all grouped into the greeting group, and the reason for that is that I want to give a similar response every time I detect a word that's a typical greeting. The advantage being I can filter then this message that we send all on the one value of greeting from the output of the group from the trigger. And you can see this is quite a long flow because I want to try and tackle lots of different things that are said to the bot. There's the joke that we looked at earlier, for instance. Really easy to install that flow. Just get it going right away. Make as many additions as you want just by adding to the list of words or phrases in the trigger. Very final thing to look at. If I go and edit my bot, I can add a persistent menu in the bot connection itself. And for instance, our quote that we built ourselves, I can offer here. Over in Messenger, if I refresh, you can see as soon as I start typing, there's my get a quote option that I offered for the persistent menu. So that menu will always be there, and it's trying to enter the flow now of the quote that we built earlier. Okay, on to the widget and web messenger as promised. So first, the widget. I just need to click create widget here, and I need to choose which bot I'm offering through the widget. I can select the color to match it to my website or landing page. I can offer a custom welcome message too if I like. I'm going to hit get code here. Now you'll see I'm just given a tiny snippet of HTML there. All I need to do is put that inside my website or landing page. Get your web developer to help you with that if you have somebody that manages it for you. Fortunately, I'm given an option to try it here. You'll see it just like this on your website. When I click try me, I'm given the option to messages, and clicking that is just like clicking it's just like clicking the messenger bot that we launched earlier. It'll launch into Messenger for us. just taking that up another level and putting our bot in a web messenger that's actually embedded in your site now. I'm going to click New Bot. I'm going to select the web messenger here, and I can just call this the mortgage bot. I'm happy with the standard welcome text. Again, put in the theme color if you like and any header text. A little bit more script generated. So again, all I need to do is put that in the right place just before the closing body tag on my website, on my landing page. I'm given a try me option again. Clicking that will launch the web messenger now, and you can see that that neatly sits on the right hand side of my existing website. Just need to refresh. And once he's configured himself, we'll be able to speak to the bot inside our existing web page. So here you can see we have the basis of a really good bot. It's well distributed, it's fully functional, it's always going to have a conversation with the customer. We have some marketing functions in place with a broadcast service. We're able to point out options to a brand new customer right away, and we can respond when we don't understand a particular message with some small talk. We've also looked at data collection and configuring the human interaction directly through the bot with the messaging service, both very powerful customer service and sales tools. So this is it, crunch time. I hope you've seen how easy it is to get started and you have some of your own ideas about what you'd like to build next. Here's what the pricing looks like. For only $19 a month, you can build 15 bots or flows and accommodate 5,000 interactions. There's no contract or tie-in period, and you can downgrade to a free plan at any time. Because you've been kind enough to watch today, I'd like to sweeten the deal a little bit. Here are links to all the flows that we've built out today, so you can install them right away. Obviously, some of those are based just on the template, so it's a one-click install, but you can use the quote form there that we built together, and there's the Google Sheet that we posted the data through to. To get absolutely everything in place that we've looked at today, you will need more than the 5 flows that are available in the free edition. So I'll give you your first month free if you sign up in the next 24 hours. You just have to use the coupon code FREE0117. That's FREE0117. With no time period, that means you can completely de-risk your own bot launch. Don't forget that this video is going to be online for a short while later, so you can get those links if you need them, and also, of course, that coupon code. Just a few resources to be aware of. There are extensive help docs at support.flowxo.com. We have a lively community where you can discuss with other users, as well as the team here, different things that you're doing with FlowXO. And we have a constructive blog at our Medium page, which is medium.com/FlowXO. We build out other use cases there, so if you've got something specific in mind, have a check and see if we've talked about something previously there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've really enjoyed building out that bot with you today. Please get signed up and tell me more about your use case. I'm going to be on live chat now in the YouTube channel. I'll pick up any comments on Facebook. I'd be delighted to help you with building your bot out. I will be running this session weekly, so feel free to come and watch again if you like. The core content won't change, but if you've got a specific case, perhaps I can build that into the session. I will be running another video series soon as well. You may have seen our Advent Calendar series, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with all our new releases, as well as hints and tips as they arise. So get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. See you all soon.